Greetings, everybody. It is I, the French fry left in your car last week, also known as Mr. Taco. God, I gotta move my microphone. I have it in like the most uncomfortable spot on my desk. There we go. Better. Time change. Eagles throw off schedule, so that's gonna be fun, having to adjust to a brand new schedule. It's only an hour, but like, it genuinely killed you. And talking right now hurts because not only do I have a busted lip, I also have a cut mouth. So like, no one's acting in a good position. MMA is not a fun sport to be in. But anyway, we're not here to vent about my hatred towards MMA. We're here to vent about my hatred towards Pokemans. Yay! Because RNG sucks sometimes. But BDL week 1 already played post-com game. Sadly, I don't like doing post-com, but my opponent wanted to play me way too late into the day for me to be able to do live commentary. So I'm definitely gonna say that a lot of my games are gonna be a mix between post-com and live com. So anyway, starting off with 1,000. Oh, also, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're facing off against Sly and the Seattle Swellows. Sly brought to the game Nidoking, Tyrantrum, Cloyster, Corviknight, Lopunny, and Incineroar. But he also had Spectrier, Lurantis, and I don't remember what else he had. God, and I do not feel like pausing the recording to go open the dock and check, so like that's what we'll just go by. So I brought Scarfocephalon because I wanted to be able to outspeed, and mind blown would one-hit KO the Mega Lopunny, which of course is a massive threat, so we wanted to make sure we can get rid of that. And then I was EV to be able to outspeed some stuff, and I just put a little bit into HP to make sure I had an uneven number because I wanted to be able to survive Stealth Rocks a few more times. Of course, it doesn't really matter. I'm not switching this thing in 5 times, but like, where else do I put that speed? It didn't matter in the game. So that was my thought process behind that. Heading up next, we got a Maruki, our Slowbro. This thing was my Mega Lopunny check, because the way that I EV'd it and natured it, Mega Lopunny could not 3-hit KO with Thunder Punch and Return. Or I think it might have been a 3-hit KO, but it was like a really low chance of a 3-hit KO. And I also EV'd to take 2 Thunderbolts from Nido before dying. So this thing I thought it was gonna be super good because now he has to take Rocky Helmet every time he wants to go for Thunder Punch or Return. And then I'm just sitting here, I can set up my Reflect, I can start Scalding, I can slack off the heal, I can teleport out. And I feel like Reflect is so good because now I survive Mega Lopunny's attacks with pretty much still with a good amount of HP. And I'm realizing that the Corviknight sprite is glitching out. Like every time it goes up, you can see a little bit of layout behind it. Doesn't really matter. But that's what this thing was kind of my main answer for. It's also a decent Incineroar answer. Incineroar, if it wants to come out and use a fire move on like my Scizor, then it's gotta take Rocky Helmet, and now it has to. And now it can go for a dark move, but then I just have my next Pokemon, which is my Mandibuzz, Nyx. This thing is a Spectrier wall. A Spectrier wall, I tell you. Absolutely wall Spectrier. Spectrier does not get good coverage at all. All it can really do to touch Mandibuzz is Hyper Beam. And then Shadow Balls are resisted, which is why I'm especially bulky, so that I can take those hits. I was like, Spectrier can't even come to the game, because if it does, it just gets walled by Mandibuzz, and it just gets bopped by Foul Play, and whatever he wants to bring in, it gets bopped by Foul Play. Roos is there to make sure that we can heal, and also Instant Nido to not be weak to like Thunderbolt or Ice Beam. Foul Play is also there for like the Tyrantrum or the Mega Lopunny, which even though they resist, it's so powerful. And then Toxic and Defog. Defog's there for removal, and Toxic's just there because, well, it's nice to chip things. Next up, we got Makoto, the Toxtricity, coming with some heat this week. We brought some heat sets this week. Adrenaline Orb. Because Incineroar has to come to the game. It's his only real answer to Scizor. He needs it to be able to throw off a fire move and kill Scizor easily. Even with Aqua Berry, Scizor won't survive. So it's like, okay, if I can read the switch and go into Toxtricity, Adrenaline Orb activates, and at that point, I just do a lot of damage. Like, Nidoking is his best answer, and it gets 2-hit KO'd by Boom Burst. Even at max special defense, max HP, it gets 2-hit KO'd by Boom Burst. And then the Cloyster gets bopped. The Corviknight just gets bopped. Like, everything. Nothing wants to come after this thing. Nothing is going to be able to kill this thing. So, really, it's good for that reason. So, we got Overdrive, Boom Burst, and Sludge Wave to do those stuff. And also, Sludge Wave's there for, if I remember correctly, he had a Clefairy on his team as well. So, I was there to try to do some damage to that. And both switch for some nice momentum once his Nido is gone. And then we got Blue Swellows, Best Swellows, our Gastrodon, of course, leftovers, Storm Drain. Now we can take some water moves from whatever wants to draw a water move. Recover, Scald, Counter, and Earth Power. Now we're EV'd to take 2 head smashes to be able to take a head smash from a Choice Bandit Tyrantrum, and then counter right back and kill the Tyrantrum. That's literally what this thing is for. It's also pretty good of a wall against Nido. I give special defense investment to be able to survive some Earth Powers. It can take an Earth Power. It can take 2 Earth Powers before dying. For full health, and you can just recover, Scald, and Earth Power against really anything. Very good in this matchup. And then Scizor, Junpei is just there just to do Scizor things. That's literally what he's there for. But I think we brought some heat on this set. So I went max speed because Incineroar is slower than Scizor, so in case he ran max speed, I could outspeed him. That's also why I ran Jolly. I ran enough attack, I believe, to like 3 or 4 hit KO the Mega Lopunny. I think it was like a 2 hit KO the Mega Lopunny with Dual Wing Beat. I think that's what I ran that for. God, my mouth is burning because instead I have a cut in my mouth, so talking is not exactly fun right now. And an eject pack. This way, he goes into his Incineroar, it intimidates me, and then I go out into something that can deal with the Incineroar. Very, very good. And then later in the game, I'm just getting U-turn and Bullet Punch chip on Incineroar all game, which it doesn't want in any way. So that's kind of my thought process behind what I wanted to bring this week. So let's go to the actual replay of the battle. Move this around a bit. My layout's gonna show up, but I'm going to fix that. There we go, music off. Put it on slow, and you guys should not be able to see my layout. Because that's a mistake I made in my first few draft videos. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So, what was I thinking going into the game? I was like, okay, what's his lead? I'm like, the lead is most likely Nido. I see Nido being a very often lead. Idmon, I use Nidoqueen and I always led with it, and I know Nidoking can serve a similar purpose, as it can break those kind of walls that might want to lead, and it can also, maybe if I want to lead like a Toxtricity to Volt Switch out, and he predicts that, then he'll lead Nido. So I'm like, okay, what's my best lead? And I'm like, he doesn't really have a good lead against Gastro. The only thing I can see leading that's good against Gastro is his Corviknight. That's the only thing I can really see leading like that. But then again, he's got to be worried about the Toxtricity to Volt Switch out. So, that's why I decided that, okay, I'm going to lead with Gastrodon. And let's go ahead and start off the game. He leads with his Nidoking, and I lead with my Swellos. So things are looking good so far already. I have now thrown him off with my lead. Now, he has to switch out and predict my Earth Power that should be coming out. So he goes into the Corviknight, which of course activates Pressure, and then I simply just Scald, predicting the Corviknight to come out. And I'm like, okay, what's he gonna do here? He roosts, and I actually recovered, because I thought he was gonna hit me with like a Brave Bird, and I'm like, okay, I just recover it, back off, and I'm back to full. But he ended up just roosting, so I'm like, okay, he's gonna Brave Bird me, let me go ahead and counter. So he gets hit by the recoil, and then I managed to counter. For some reason, counter makes contact, so we get hit by Rocky Helmet. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna recover this turn. right? I recovered out of Earth Power. No, Earth Power because I'm big brain. And predicted his roost because he may have outsmarted me, but I outsmarted his outsmarting. So he goes into his low bunny, which I kind of understand. I just recovered. Now I'm back at full health, and he has a very, very chipped Corviknight that is in a bad situation for the fact that I did not bring rocks, but if I brought my Sand Slash and got rocks up, that thing dies to rocks. So he Mega Evolves and goes for Fake Out, which is 25% of my HP, which after I calced that, because damage calcs are allowed in battle in this league, I was like, okay, so yeah, your max physical attack. I don't remember if it was adamant or not, but I'm like, okay, so your max physical attack. Because you did 75% to my very, very physically defensively invested Swellos. So I'm like, okay. I go into Slowbro all day on this team. No reason not to go into Slowbro. He goes into, you know, his Cloyster. And I go into Maruki, and I'm just like, okay. Does he have Freeze Dry? And I'm like, I don't care if you have Freeze Dry. You're not doing anything to me. I'm staying in. He Shell Smashes. I'm like, I'm in a bad situation. And I decided to get my Reflect up. So I'm just like, okay. If he wants to hit me right here with like an Icicle Spear or something, just wants to hit me hard, I have Reflect up. I don't care. He's going for the Pin Missile, which I forgot Cloyster had, and ends up chipping me for around 50% of my HP. And I teleported out since I did expect him to switch, and I'm like, okay, well, I should go into my Scizor here. And now I just click Bullet Punch. I get a lot of chip down on this thing, and then I can figure out what to do later. And he can't really do much to my Scizor in the first place without having to use a water move that isn't, in all honesty, he really carried on Cloyster that much. So he goes into the Corviknight. I decide just a Bullet Punch here. And it doesn't kill. I had investment to kill the Corviknight, and I get min-maxed to him living on 3. And he's gonna add some extra salt to the wound. He was Rocky Helmet. So now, I run the risk of taking more chip on my Scizor, but I also run the risk of his Corviknight getting back up to full health. I don't want this thing healing. I'm like, okay, be gone. Bullet Punch. And now my Scizor is sitting at a not so pretty 67%. Back to the Nidoking, and I'm just like, that screams, I have Flamethrower. I am going to burn you. That just screams, I have Flamethrower to me. I'm like, okay, I know you have Flamethrower already since you switched a Nidoking in on a Scizor. So I decided to switch out into Blue Shell's Best to take the Flamethrower, and it's going for Earth Power, and he does get a little bit of a higher roll when I actually calced what he was going to end up doing on me. That's like one of like the higher rolls he could have gotten. I think it was like almost a max roll, which did kind of suck because now I die to another Earth Power. Well, I can die to another Earth Power if he gets a slightly higher roll, and that's already an almost max roll. So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? I decided to go into my Mandibuzz and decided to predict the Earth Power. I could have stayed in with my Gastrodon and just recovered spammed on this thing, but I do a nice little prediction. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get T-Bolted here. No, those are T-Spikes. So okay, the Foul Plate, I get a crit, which didn't matter in the long run of the game. He Thunderbolts me, and I defog. I'm like, okay, I did not want these spikes on my side of the field, because I don't want to have to go into Toxicity to absorb them. So I defog. I start healing up with my lefties a bit, and he EPs. Why? In post-game discussion, he said that he didn't think I was going to give him the kill, so he wanted to predict the Gastrodon. Sometimes it's too easy. And now he's in a bad position, so he just does not want to get hit by these foul plays. So he goes into Tasmanian Devil. And I did not have U-turn, so I unfortunately just foul play him for 18 damage. Not that bad. Getting that chip is really important. I decided just a Toxic. See what he wants to do. He ends up Parting Shot. Okay. Not bad. The Cloyster's in a bad position now. I foul play the Cloyster for around 27% of its HP. And he Shell Smashes. So I was like, okay. I'm not getting swept by a Cloyster. when I'm up 6-5 right now. He Icicle Spears, which of course kills my Mandibuzz. It was specially defensive. It was more especially defensive than it was physically defensive, as I needed it to be a wall for Spectrier if he did decide to bring that. So I go into my Scizor and decide just to Bullet Punch, which does not do nearly as much as I needed it to do. And then Icicle Sphere does end up knocking me out. I could have survived. Wait, no, does it not knock me out? No, it doesn't. Okay, so thankfully I do survive, but he has Ice Shard and it's faster, so he out-prioritizes me. And I'm now in a really bad situation. So I go into my Toxtricity, which just dies. I go into Maruki, which just dies. I go into Swellos, which just dies. And now I go into Blacephalon, which I should have done sooner. Because if I went into Blacephalon after Scizor died, I still had 4 Pokemon to win the game with. But since I'm Choice Scarf, now I'm locked in and I cannot touch a Tyrantrum. So he just goes into his Tyrantrum, and at that point I've lost. But even if I get a burn here, I'm a Blacephalon. I'm dead. He EQs to make sure he doesn't miss, and he does kill me. And we do lose. I did not expect to win this battle. I knew that I don't expect to win a lot of battles in this league because it's filled with a lot of people who are super good at the game. So I don't really feel like I have much of a chance being someone who's a lot newer to the draft scene. As I said, I'm more using this as a training for TEC main, as I just want to get better and learn some new sets, which I've been trying to do. I've been people help me team build. This one I did do on my own though, but I have been getting help team building because I'm trying to learn. So by being helped by people, it's actually teaching me a little bit more about how to approach team building, which that's going to really help me in the future. So I hope you guys look forward to our next battle, which might be live comm. I don't know, haven't scheduled yet. So we'll see when that time comes. So I'll see you guys all in my next battle. Bye.